Hey everyone, welcome back to ClockAfrica, the channel where world drama meets real talk, and pop culture always gets that unapologetic African twist. If you're new here, welcome to the fam. If you're returning, you already know how we do. No fluff, just vibes and facts. Now let's get into today's episode because, Usher is once again trending for doing the absolute most, and this time, someone's marriage may be the collateral damage. So this clip of Usher went viral, and as always, he's in his silky shirt, smooth vocals in full effect, oozing charm like he was born in a love song. He's serenading a woman in the crowd, and sis is gone. Not emotionally, spiritually gone. No, like physically leaning into him like gravity stopped working. It's giving, take me, Usher, energy. The way she was reacting, you'd think Usher paid her bills, cooked her jollof, and gave her a key to his house. Now, here's the kicker. Turns out this woman is reportedly married. Yup. Not just dating, not it's complicated, not we're on a break. Married. And the online rumor mill is saying her husband was not impressed. In fact, word on the street is he might have even filed for divorce. Why? Because apparently she never even kissed him in public. Not once. But Usher shows up with a microphone and a smile, and suddenly she's acting like she's auditioning for Magic Mike, Vegas Nights. Let me be clear, none of this is officially confirmed. But honestly, are we surprised? This isn't Usher's first time turning relationship boundaries into a suggestion. Remember when Keke Palmer's baby daddy, Darius, had a full emotional breakdown after she danced with Usher? The man hit Twitter like it was a therapy session, and then she popped up in Usher's music video like, yup, and what about it? Even the Boondocks saw it coming. One of the show's animators said Usher once walked into a restaurant he was in with his wife, and the entire vibe at the table flipped. His wife went from annoyed to entranced. Bro said he watched his marriage evaporate while Usher just sat in the back, chilling like Satan at a soul auction.
And so we all went out to eat, and we were having a good time, and we got into this conversation about the R. Kelly episode, right? My ex-wife, she did not like that episode. And we're at the table, and she just like goes off about it, right? But then Usher walks into the restaurant, and all of a sudden she lights up, and she starts like, she's smiling and like, you know what I'm saying, like blushing and all this stuff. And I'm like, what is going on? I didn't even realize Usher walked in. I just noticed that she was all of a sudden in a great mood. And then so I looked over and I saw Usher was like sitting right behind us, and she was like turned around, like trying to get his attention and waving and stuff like that. So I'm extremely embarrassed at this point. I was already embarrassed with the R. Kelly, so I'm like extremely embarrassed at this point. And then so we got ready to leave and we headed towards the door. And I remember I turned around and looked back, and she was over at his table. So it was a long ride home, right? And then the next day I came into the office, and they were like, we putting that in the show. That's going in the show.
So yeah, Usher might be a legend, but he's also the patron saint of relationship disruption. You invite him to your event at your own risk. At this point, couples need to sign a waiver before attending his concerts. By entering this venue, you accept that your relationship status may change. Now switching gears, let's talk about a man who's got everybody in Hollywood clutching their pearls, Sean P. Diddy Combs. The rumors surrounding Diddy are stacking up faster than fuel prices in Nigeria. From weird party whispers to full-blown lawsuits, the stories just keep coming, and they're getting darker. Terrence Howard, yes, that Terrence Howard, straight up said Diddy once tried to sleep with him, and not in a cryptic, vague, maybe he meant something else kind of way. No, he said it directly. Then you've got comedian Cat Williams, who already lit the internet on fire with stories about Diddy's infamous parties. And let's just say, nobody's singing happy birthday at those gatherings. If Kat's stories are even half true, those parties sound more like secret society initiation rituals than industry mixers. Kat even joked that he had to reject millions of dollars just to protect his integrity and, in his words, his virgin hole. That's not a punchline. That's a confession disguised as comedy. And then there's actor Columbus Short. His story? Creepy. He said Diddy drugged him, invited him to private hotel rooms at odd hours, and kept luring him in with acting lessons. According to him, it felt less like mentorship and more like grooming, and it's chilling to think how normalized this behavior has been for decades in the entertainment world. Terrence backed up Columbus's story too. He said Diddy invited him to coach him on acting, but there was no script, no character breakdown, no set, just vibes. Terrence saw through the game and pulled out. Respect to him for setting boundaries, because not everyone has that chance or that power. This isn't a smear campaign, it's a reckoning. There's a pattern forming here. If multiple men from different backgrounds all tell similar stories, maybe we should stop laughing and start listening. At this point, even if Diddy's not guilty of everything, the smoke is looking thick enough to be fire. And the lawsuits, they're starting to roll in like a tidal wave.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right, because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
And then Diddy called me one day after I did Cadillac Records. He came to the premiere of Cadillac Records in New York. And he was like, man, you killed that. He said, I'm up for this movie. He's like, I need an acting coach, man. So I put him with my acting coach. So I think it was just now, looking back, it's like the groomage, right?
Yeah.
So I was, the BET Awards were happening in town. I didn't go because I wasn't nominated. Phone rang, this is an unknown number. I say, who is this? It's Sean. I'm like, Sean? It's Puff. So I was like, hey, what's good? I said, what's cracking? He said, we didn't see you tonight at the BET Awards. He said, oh yeah, we over here at the he said, I'm over here at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I said, oh, for real? So who over there? Just me. Hell no, I didn't go. It's crazy. It's ridiculous what I look like going to a grown man's hotel room in the middle of the night.
Terrence Howard also told a story of how Diddy was trying to sleep with him too.
Did you ever have the opportunity where you got invited and you said no to it?
Hell yeah.
What was the consequences when you said no?
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way.
Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no.
Now, let's breathe for a sec and talk about something equally spicy. Lizzo versus the pop universe. Recently, Lizzo said Janet Jackson is the true queen of pop and basically implied Britney Spears is just doing a Janet impression. And oh, the internet did not take that lightly. Lizzo said, and I quote, Britney's doing a Janet impression. Janet is the first diva. Madonna was watching her on TV as a kid. Now, let's break that down. Fact check. Madonna is older than Janet. So unless Madonna was watching baby Janet in her crib, that timeline doesn't check out. However, the essence of what Lizzo said isn't wrong. Janet is the blueprint. She brought rhythm, sensuality, and choreography to pop music in a way few had before. Britney has always cited Janet as an influence. In fact, she said watching Janet's If video changed her life. Britney didn't copy Janet, she channeled her. That's a major difference. Saying Britney is just a copy, though, that's disrespectful. Britney carved her own lane. She became an icon in her own right. Oops, I did it again. Toxic. Slave for you. Those weren't Janet leftovers. That was Britney's era, and she owned it. She took Janet's foundation and built something new. Now, Lizzo's comments about Madonna also stirred the pot. She claimed Janet was already an icon before Madonna was even getting started. Not quite. Madonna hit global fame in the early 80s. Janet's breakout came with Control in 1986. But here's what's true. Janet may not have been first, but she went places Madonna couldn't. Her music was more diverse, her visuals more intricate, and her message, empowering without being exploitative. But let's be clear, if we're talking about the original diva, we have to mention Diana Ross. She walked so everyone else could sashay. From the Supremes to solo stardom, from fashion runways to Hollywood films, Diana Ross was that girl. Janet took her elegance and made it futuristic. Madonna took rebellion and made it marketable. Britney took sex appeal and made it pop perfection. The truth is, each of them holds a crown in their own lane. Janet deserves her flowers. Her career was unfairly derailed after the Super Bowl scandal. While Justin Timberlake walked away unscathed, she was blackballed, muted, and erased from major platforms. But her impact still ripples through the industry today. So if Lizzo wants to crown Janet, go off, queen. But maybe next time, don't step on Britney's legacy to do it.
People came for me on the internet because I said Janet Jackson is the queen of pop. Britney Spears is doing a Janet impression. And she said it. Janet is her diva.
Yeah, for sure.
There were no such things as pop divas before Janet. Janet was first. She was famous when Madonna was a kid watching her on television.
Yeah.
And I'm just putting it out there. It's not because someone is better than the other. She was just first. And she is Janet. She invented this shit.
Yeah.
Now, Madonna is the pop icon.
Yes.
And I love Madonna.
Yeah.
And we can't refute her influence and what she's done for pop music and for all of the divas. She's birthed a generation.
When I was younger, Janet Jackson was a big inspiration to me. I remember seeing her If video for the first time and I was like, I want to be like her. Yeah, I thought she was very cool. I remember I met Janet for the first time. She was meeting me after one of my shows and I was coming off the stage all sweaty and stuff. I was like, hi, it's nice to meet you. And she was like so sweet, such a doll. Yeah, so tiny, yeah.
You know, I wound up I met Britney just a few days ago.
Just a couple days ago, how did that go?
I saw her show, and one of my best friends is dancing with her, Gil, and she said that I inspired her a great deal, and that's so flattering for me. Yeah.
She actually covered Black Cat, I believe, in one of her concerts as well. I know she's a big fan.
I heard about that, yeah.
Anyway, that's our breakdown. So, what do you think? Is Usher just a smooth singer or a certified relationship ruiner? Is Diddy finally being held accountable for decades of shady behavior? And who really runs the pop throne? Janet, Madonna, Britney, or someone else? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Be respectful, but keep it real. Like, subscribe, and smash that bell so you never miss when we serve the tea hot. This is ClockAfrica, where the culture lives, breathes, and breaks boundaries. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace.